You are listening to Let's Talk Trio on podcasts. Keep up with the latest episodes by downloading the Podbean app or stream episodes via our social media accounts. Search for Let's Talk Trio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This episode is sponsored by Student Access. Student Access, the leader in Trio software. Student Access is an online database solution that allows Trio programs to track their students' information, connect with students by text messages, streamline the APR, and work from anywhere, all online, with automatic updates for changes from the Department of Education. Their technical support team includes former Trio staff and has over 50 years of combined experience working with Trio. Make it easier to focus on your priority, the students. For more information and to request a free demo, visit their website at www.studentaccess.com or call them toll-free at 1-800-801-1232. That website again is www.studentaccess.com or 1-800-801-1232. Be sure to share your favorite episodes on your social media by tapping that share button. This is a great way to support the podcast. Now here's your host, Juan Rivas.
Thank you, Amelia, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, listener, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Trio. This is Season 6, Episode 6. I am your host, Juan Rivas. In today's episode, we have Laquanna Sledge, who is a PhD student at Liberty University and Trio Student Support Services staff member at Halifax Community College. Laquanna is on the podcast to share her experiences working for Trio and some of her research that she's doing as a PhD student. A huge thanks to our sponsors, Angelica Villalpando, Rosario Riley, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Jeff Naputi, Angelica Valdez, Felicia Rivera, Jaded Electronics, TrioJoblist.com, NOSOTROS Education Center, Cambridge Educational Services, and Student Access. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can be a sponsor of the podcast. Head on over to Patreon and search for Let's Talk Trio. Choose one of 4 patron levels. You can support this podcast for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month goes a long way in supporting this podcast. If you own a business and would like to run an ad on our podcast, send us a message for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast PayPal account. Our business handle is @Let'sTalkTrio. Any amount is truly appreciated. If you would like to nominate a participant, staff, advocate, or alumni to be on the podcast, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. Again, a great episode featuring Laquanna Sledge, who is a Trio Student Support Services staff member at Halifax Community College. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, Trio Nation. My guest on the Let's Talk Trio podcast currently serves the Trio Student Support Services program as the lead advisor at Halifax Community College. She is currently a PhD student studying higher education administration through Liberty University. They obtained their bachelor's degree in political science and government from Virginia State University and a master's in education with an emphasis on curriculum and instruction. During her free time, she enjoys reading, writing, binge watching TV, and trying new foods, which I will ask our guests, the new foods and the binge watching. Welcome to the podcast, Laquanna Sledge. Laquanna, welcome to the podcast.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? How's everything over there?
I'm doing well. I do want to say I appreciate you reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity to be on the show today.
Absolutely. It is so good to have you on here on Let's Talk Trio. I am looking forward to learning more about you and seeing your educational and professional journey and definitely talking about a variety of topics.
All right. Thank you so much.
So how are things in North Carolina?
Everything is well on my end. We're experiencing 4 different seasons of weather every day, but other than
wow.
Everything is good and well on my end.
Very, very good. When you say you experience all four seasons in like 24 hours, is that kind of the typical weather in North Carolina?
Usually it's around this time, it's like winter in the morning. By like 10 to 12, you might get fall or springish, and then
Hmm.
sometimes it heats up really like 65, 70, and then as soon as the sun starts to setting,
Hmm.
it's winter again. So
Oh, wow.
it's kind of different.
It really ranges, it sounds like. Um, what is your favorite thing to do out in North Carolina?
Favorite thing to do. So North Carolina is uh kind of like a second home, even though I went to born and raised in Virginia. A lot
Hmm.
of my family is from the state, so it's home. So I do life here. I guess that makes sense.
Hmm. No, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. Other than that, North Carolina's home. Practically born and raised here. Worked here since out of undergrad. So just living life here in all
absolutely.
4 seasons in one day.
So we are nearing the end of this year. We're recording this podcast early part of November. Are there any goals on your checklist that you hope to accomplish before this year is out?
Okay, so usually around this time of the year, like Thanksgiving and into Christmas and the New Year, I kind of like to sit back and like think about all that I've accomplished in the year. Looking back at some old goals I might have written down and see if I actually accomplished them and didn't notice it yet,
Hmm.
and start planning for the new year. I'm actually trying to do something different with my goals this year by setting like 3 objectives in 3 different areas and making goals based on that instead of having like a long laundry list of a planning out everything. It's
Yeah,
just going by these 3 objectives and these specific goals, and going from there.
absolutely. I think that's a smart strategy to kind of just go three objectives instead of having these like laundry list of things to do.
Yeah, and it kind of makes it more kind of like more realistic instead of
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
check everything. Because once you try, start trying to check off everything, you kind of lose focus a little bit, and it's harder to get back on track once things veer off a little bit. So I'm
That's
trying to
true.
find this approach.
Absolutely. What's something that you're proud to have accomplished this year?
One of the things that I'm proud of, like accomplishing this year, is actually starting my PhD program.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was very much trying to figure out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to do it and what was realistic. I've been talking about it for a long, like at least the last 2 years about when should I start, where should I start. So actually, starting the classes and starting my coursework, that's one of my biggest accomplishments for this year.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
that is wonderful. So starting a PhD program, absolutely. It feels like that's like a monumental undertaking.
Yeah, it kind of is because traditionally, most traditional PhD students, they're in school full time
Hmm.
and they're like on campus. But with me doing it online or like a hybrid model
Hmm.
per se, and working full time and doing all these doing extra things and family and just life in general, it makes it like a balancing act a little bit. It's very interesting.
Absolutely. During your intro, it was mentioned that reading and writing are some of the things that you like to do as hobbies. How did you get into that?
So with reading, my mom was a second grade teacher. So she would bring like books home and like her assignments that she would give her students.
Hmm.
I would like pretend I was grading them,
Hmm.
and I would like go through the passages, the books they were. I couldn't even like really read at that time, so I was just looking at the pictures, and I thought that was cool. So as I got older, um, my mom always would like anytime we would go out and I would look at words on a building, I was like, okay, I can spell that. So I would spell it. And she was like, oh, that's right. So I would constantly do that, like spelling, writing.
Yeah.
I always found it fun. I guess I was kind of weird. And like with reading, I can just the book comes alive in my head and my imagination, and I can just, be in my own little world. And with writing is one of those things that I think I inherited from my mother, because I've been told that she was a very strong writer. Like when she was in school and like when she was an undergrad and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the inherited thing about the writing, because it's like I guess I'll try to explain it. I can write about anything,
Mm-hmm.
and like you give me a topic, I might not know too much about it, but I'm gonna fully elaborate on what the small bits I do know about it. It's like I guess it's like a form of therapy, I guess, a little bit with the writing.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. Can you talk to us about what's something that you learned about yourself this year?
One thing that I've learned about myself, particularly with this year and starting my PhD, is that I have a lot of skill set that I actually didn't think I like had. Like I'm kind of rediscovering different skill sets that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of work, with personal things that I have going on. Like I have a lot of strong skill sets that I've been able to tap in this year.
Mm-hmm. And those skills definitely, it sounds like it's served you so far. Um, can we rewind the clocks a little bit, Laquanna? We're going to go into your upbringing a little bit. What was, being raised by your family? What was that like?
Uh, Being raised by my family, like the family dynamics was kind of different than most, because I was raised by my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
My mom passed when I was 7. I think I was going to second or third. I was going to second grade. So being raised by my grandmother and it having a younger sibling, it was very different, because when you're raised by your grandparents, it's kind of, you get a certain level of wisdom and understanding with being raised by
Certainly.
your parents, and they look at life completely different than you do. So I've always had a different perspective about like life and
Mm-hmm.
like how to look at things and that sort. So, and also too, I come from two large families on both my mom and my dad's side. So it's kind of like everybody knows everybody, everybody knows what's going on. So I look
Mm-hmm.
at it more of a community kind of aspect as opposed to like a immediate family. I consider my brother and my grandmother my immediate family, and everybody else is just my outside and large, at large community.
Mm-hmm.
As So especially with having a lot of extended family as well. So
Oh, okay. How would your family describe you?
I would hope they would have something nice to say. Uh, I guess they would say I'm ambitious. I don't talk too much. I guess a little reserved. Um, they would say that I'm, smart, intelligent, that kind of thing. Um, Other than that, I guess that's what they would say if it was, positive, but
Absolutely. I mean, with brothers and close family, right? It could be a little bit different because they'll my family or my brothers tend to roast me for what I perceive are flaws. But hopefully, I would think they would defend me in public or say something positive in public. But
yeah. Hopefully they'll defend me in public. That's, but I guess they would say I'm, pretty chill, not reserved. Compared to my family at large, I'm like kind of the opposite of
oh,
what,
really?
yeah, because it's a lot of there are a lot of characters going on, so there's always a lot going on,
Uh-huh.
and it's very interesting to watch. And then I'm kind of like on the outside, kind of just watching and paying attention to things and that kind of fly on the wall. That's where I like to stand with that.
Okay. No, fair enough. Um, can you talk to us about your school experience? What was that like for you?
So I've always liked school, kind of loved it, probably a little bit too much,
Mm,
being that like my mom was a teacher and everybody that I knew that went to college at that time, like understanding like, school and stuff, they were teachers. So everyone I knew that went to college,
mhm,
pursued higher education, were either teachers or um in education like related fields. So school was like a core and center point of like my upbringing because I
mhm.
was always around teachers and that kind of thing, especially with my mom being a teacher and all of her friends were in education. So it's kind of like it was my world a little bit. I really don't think I had a choice in it. I think it was like kind of embedded in me a little bit, slightly
Mhm.
indoctrinated about, school and how important it is. And, with reading and writing, with that being my two of my top interests,
Mhm.
I think school just kind of fueled it a little bit. And yeah, kind of I think I love school a little bit too much, kind of a second home kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it sounded like school was not an escape, but more of a like second, like you were saying, a secondary home, a place that you can go to. It was your comfort place. It was nice. You're talking a lot about reading and writing as like that was your really something that you connected with. Are those the classes you excelled at?
Oh yeah, like uh I remember when I was in fifth grade, I think I was in fifth grade English, and we had to write about describe something something
Hmm.
like that. So at the time I had this like weird fascination with BMWs for some reason.
BMWs, really?
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. I don't know. But and I was explaining like why I wanted this BMW.
Uh-huh.
And like I wanted to know the specifics, like who makes it, the full name, like
Oh,
where did
wow.
like I like the detail, like, and I wrote it, and then it's like a couple of days later, I can't think of her name at this time. I think it was Miss Harrison, I think.
Hmm.
And she was like, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, why? Because I was the quiet kid in class. So I didn't really say too much or anything like that. But what she read, she really enjoyed it because I really explained it, went
Oh,
into
wow.
detail about it. So writing was just my way of, I guess, expressing myself.
Hmm.
And I was a little bit reserved. It gave me the opportunity to express my thoughts and feelings and stuff.
Right on. I like how when we discover our skills or discover our really passion areas, like people may perceive us as, and I'll be honest with you, Laquanna, I typically consider myself as very reserved, very shy on the outside, but discovering like podcasting like that brings out the extrovert in me. That's like, oh, I really love doing this. This is the thing I really like. So that's so cool that you found writing and being able to express yourself in that form, like you saw more of yourself, you know?
Yeah, because in conversation, depending on who it is, I'm very short and to the point.
Hmm. Hmm.
But when it comes to writing, it's like I get real long-winded. I just go and it's just I think I get lost in it.
Hmm.
And with me with words and wanting to know what words meant and that kind of thing and what does it mean if I put it this way, and I'm thinking about the instance with that fifth grade essay. I think I asked the teacher for a dictionary
You
because
asked for a dictionary.
I think I did. Either I asked for it
Uh-huh.
or it was like she said we could use one. I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was like maybe 13, 14 years ago.
Wow.
So I'm just trying to process that. So I asked for a dictionary and I looked at the BMW and I wanted to know the full name of BMW. I didn't just want to say BMW. I wanted them to know and it described like what I was writing about and not just red, but candy apple red and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's just I get lost all in there somewhere.
that's
That's
amazing.
it's interesting.
So now I got to ask, did you find out what BMW stands for?
British mode of work.
What? Is that what it really?
Yeah, I can Google it right now. I'm serious. And I'm telling you, it was over 17 years ago.
Uh-huh. That's amazing though that you still
And
remember
I
like the
and
full
I
research that you did on it.
I don't hold on. I'm Googling. I'm serious. What does it stand for?
I
Because
honestly don't know, so I'm just like, wow, that you dug into a company's uh history to find out like the specific motor vehicle company's name. I was like, wow, that's super impressive.
promise you that's what it meant. I'm Googling now.
Oh no, I believe you. I definitely believe you.
What is it? Oh, I guess we can go to the next question.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we could definitely do that. I think for a lot of teens, the transition from middle school to high school is very tough. How did you and your family prepare for that transition into high school?
So as far as that transition from middle school to high school, um, I was luckily enough to get introduced to Upward Bound Trio in middle school.
All right, right on.
And I didn't have any clue what the program was about, but my grandmother was very keen on making sure me and my brother were in extra curricular activities and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So she was basically best friends with the guidance counselor. So like very close with her. So anything that she thought that we should be doing,
Hmm.
she made sure it got sent home. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, I don't even know what it is. And so I kind of did it because it was introduced to me, and I was like, it seems something cool that I should do.
Hmm.
But little did I know that I would greatly benefit from it because had I had not had anything to assist me with that transition from middle school to high school, probably wouldn't have done so well, even though I didn't do well my first 2 years of high school.
Hmm.
I really get it together to like second semester, probably sophomore year to get my grades back up. I still had that support. That was my support system of that transition from high school,
All right.
from high school, but middle school to high school.
All right. Can you talk to us about your high school experience then? What was that like? You said that you joined the Trio Upward Bound program.
So being that I was very active in trio in high school, like once my grandmother we signed up for something, you
Hmm.
were committed to it. Like you can't slack. You're gonna go.
Commitment.
Yeah, you're gonna go to the sessions every other Saturday. Um, go there, do your homework. So get help if like math was not my strongest thing. So I would go there and get as much help as I could for math.
Hmm.
But it also assisted in that transition by introducing to me to the college entrance process, like applying what
Hmm.
financial aid was, like learning all the lingo and the language, especially with my grandmother being older. She didn't, she understood what it meant when my mom went to school in the 80s, but
Hmm.
it was different then. So it's kind of like she needed she needed the support as well.
Hmm.
So she would always tell us, like, get all the information you need, make sure you know what's going on, pay attention to things and write down what you need to do and that kind of thing. So you
Hmm.
can be ahead of what's in front of you and not behind of what's in front of you. So that community of support made that college process very easy because I was able to get assistance in understanding the lingo and also going on college tours that
Hmm.
I may or may not have been able to go to, um, going on free trips during the summer. That's always a plus. That was a selling point.
Absolutely.
Staying on campus during the summer, having an opportunity to get a few college credits while I was doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and get exposure, going to different museums and eating for free, different restaurants, just experiencing things I might not have been able to be exposed to without, the support of Up Around Trio. So
That's awesome. So I'm going to be completely honest with you, Laquanna. I did not know that you were a Trio Upward Bound alum.
yes, I am a Trio kid. I advocate for Trio. I never really thought I would work for Trio
Yeah.
because being a student in Trio, it looks different than actually working.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's like day and night. It's funny because I was in the classroom
Mhm.
for a while, and I wanted to do something different, but I didn't know what it was. And I guess Trio was my way of doing it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I started working, and I was like, and I actually still communicate with the director that was the director of the program when I was a student,
Mhm.
and the counselor. And I called her and I said, so this is what y'all did every day to make sure
Yeah.
it places and all the logistic stuff from the NPR. It's just a lot. I was like, y'all had to deal with it. They was like, yeah, and then they were like, you thought we were like having fun with y'all on these trips. I
When the
didn't know.
reality sets in, right?
Yeah, I knew it would work, but I didn't know it was so, being a federally funded program, it's so technical with everything. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting. I was like, y'all made it look so easy.
Right?
But like, I'm like, what? Yeah, but seeing it on the other side is very interesting. But also too, being a Trio kid and working for Trio, you actually can see how it works for people, how the benefits of it, and it's a great selling point. If I'm working from the program that I was in, it has
Mhm.
to be some benefits to it. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's a great recruitment tool,
It
but
really is.
yeah, I just found it interesting. But yeah, Trio alone, Trio definitely shifted where my life gave me access and opportunity and the mentorship that I needed. So kind of indebted to Trio at this point. So
That's awesome. So we get a little preview of like, so you did get to be a professional in Trio. And seeing you as a student in Upward Bound before all of that. Did you get to, because you had this universe in Trio, you had it sounded like you were very involved. But what about like high school? Were you very involved in high school, like student government or doing extracurricular activities in that end?
no, I wasn't like I said, I was kind of a shy kid. I didn't really do too much um as far as in school, like in school specifically, but I did some community things
Okay.
like that. But as far as like involvement in school, nah, not that much.
I'm gonna venture a guess here. Were you very much a under the radar kid? Like you just wanted to fly under the radar, didn't want to like draw too much attention, just wanted to get the classes done?
Yeah, especially though senior year, I was just like, I,
Okay.
I yeah, I wasn't like I stayed under the radar, but it's kind of like
Hmm.
I couldn't, but I could. When your parents and your grandparents know everybody, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I, just trying to stay in my little box, do what I need to do, and all of that really wasn't I was somewhat social,
Hmm.
but not like a social butterfly kind of thing. I was just flying low, doing what I needed to do, making sure my grades was good, that kind of thing.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Are you seeking guidance to enhance your TRIO project's effectiveness and success? Look no further. Nosotros Education Center, NEC, is here to empower your TRIO project with expert consulting services. NEC's mission is to promote the effectiveness and impact of TRIO programs. Since 2003, NEC has specialized in providing professional development and in-service staff trainings, allowable cost services, for TRIO projects across the country. The team at NEC, with over 60 years of combined TRIO experience, offers customized workshops and seminars for project staff, compliance assessments, external evaluations, working on and submitting APRs, database customization and training, developments of policies and procedures manuals, and project implementation or reorganization services. Additionally, NEC has secured over $774 million in federal funding with a 92% success rate through their live and on-demand proposal workshops, assistance with data collection and review, detailed technical reviews, and comprehensive proposal development services. Join the hundreds of colleges, agencies, and TRIO projects across the country who benefited from NEC's expertise. Nosotros Education Center, your partner in TRIO's project success. Visit their website at nosotros.edu.org. Again, that's nosotrosedu.org.
Now, back to the podcast. At what point did the discussion about college enter your academic and personal realm? It sounded like you were already kind of moving the gears toward college, but did you talk to family counselors or anybody about like you wanted to go to college?
So around middle school, I always knew I wanted to go to college. I mean, my mom went to college, several aunts and uncles, and so I knew what college was, and I knew what was the purpose of it, but I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do. So I wanted to be an attorney.
Oh.
Yes, middle school. I think I had started watching Law and Order at that point. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer and I'm gonna be a prosecutor, DA kind of thing. Fight the good fight, help people and that sort of thing in middle school. And I was dead set on it. But I'm going to law school. That's it. That was it. Like, I didn't want to do nothing. Well, what if nope, law school. That was it.
You were set on it.
I was like dead set in stone. I was like, this is going to happen this way. And I'm going to do X, Y, and Z and 1, 2, and 3. It's going to happen. Even when I applied to school, I was like, I know what major I need to have. I'm either going to do English or history or poli-sci. So I went with poli-sci. Because at that time, like when I was in middle school, it was around the time President Obama was gonna
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Running for office, and he was getting into like 07-ish is when I really got interested in politics because of him and that kind of thing. So he was an attorney. His wife went to law school. I was like, yeah, I have to go to law school. Like it's no other thing out there for me to do. So all through middle school, high school, I'm going to law school. I'm going to law school. Knew what law schools I wanted to go to, and then I guess reality hit a little bit.
What do you mean?
With the LSAT exam.
Oh, the LSATs, yeah.
Yes. So I've always been good academically. But when it comes to standardized exams and tests, those are not my things. So I was taking the test and I couldn't really get the score that I needed. So I was pretty much waitlisted for every school that I applied to. So my dreams were, as you can imagine, kind of crushed. Yeah, so that was a very interesting thing right there. So
yeah, how do you handle like that type of when a university or college waitlists you, or when you don't like make that achievement that How do you respond to a setback?
Honestly speaking, I didn't know what to do. Like I felt lost at one point. Like I really felt lost because I had been talking about this since like seventh grade.
Mm-hmm.
It was I'm going to law school because President Obama went to law school. First Lady Michelle, she went to law school. I was like, I have to go.
Right, right.
So I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. So from seventh grade up until senior college, that was my plan.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else interested me. So I thought, and I was like, maybe, well, if law school doesn't work out, maybe I can go back and get my math, like be a college professor. That was
Mm-hmm.
I was either going to be a law professor or be an attorney practicing law. So those was my only two, like in my head and in my plan, those were my only two options. And I kind of like didn't know what to do. I was kind of lost. Um, find out that I got waitlisted prior to spring semester.
Mm-hmm.
So I still had classes to finish. I had to submit my senior project. And I remember I think I was in a computer lab. And at this point, I'm looking for jobs. Like
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I got waitlisted, didn't know what I wanted because my plans were ruined.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any backups. So it was like, go home for a little while, find a job. So, and I got a phone call from a family member, and she was like, because she was working somewhere, and I was like, y'all hiring, right? And she was like, no, but Laquanna, you can afford your degree. You ever thought about teaching in the classroom? And I think
Mm-hmm.
I laughed. I did. And I laughed because I was like, I'm not teaching. My mom taught for 5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, that's cute. But I was like, no, I'm not teaching nobody kids. And then I thought about it and I was like, maybe it won't be so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in there, got in the classroom, didn't know what I was doing, but it felt right. And I've been in ever since. So
Wow.
it's crazy to think about it now.
Yeah,
But
that's amazing. So kind of I want to know that process of like, so you had this setback. At what point did you decide, well, I'm going to go to Virginia State University. I want to go to a college. Yeah, what was that decision process like for you?
as far as like deciding what school I wanted to go to,
Mm-hmm.
so I applied to other schools, multiple other schools, and I
Mm-hmm.
got into all of them. But I had to be kind of like realistic about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being at the program, Upward Bound Trail was housed at Virginia State. I knew Virginia State, stayed there on campus every summer, got to know different people that worked there by being there every summer. So I kind of had my little own community there. So I was like, at first I was like, I'm not coming here. It's too close to home. Nope, I'm not doing it. Don't care what they say, don't care what they offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had this moment where I was like, it's comfortable, it's familiar, it won't be a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be easy for you to maneuver through it. You won't have to feel like you're restarting. So go ahead and go here. And it kind of chose me. I didn't pick it. It
Mm-hmm.
chose me. You
Wow.
know, yeah, yeah. Again, it's interesting talking about it now because at first I'm like, I'm not doing it. I thought about transferring. Like my freshman year, I was like, I'm gonna get all A's, transfer out, go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It never worked out. It just my plans never work, and I'm glad they don't.
Did you get a lot of support while preparing for college?
Yeah, the people that work for Trio Upward Bound in Virginia State, they became like my second parents, second moms, aunts, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they really became second family because they knew I was like very motivated, and I had goals that I just wanted to do better
Mm-hmm.
and succeed and have options. and they stood beside me 100%, that kind of thing. So a lot of support, unsolicited and solicited support. So.
That's wonderful. Can you talk to us about the moment you graduated from high school? What was that moment like for you, and what did your family say?
So graduating from high school was somewhat emotional for me because like I said, my mom wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, and her not being there to experience it with me, that was made it a little bit more emotional. But it's kind of like we talk like as kids, we talk about can't wait till I graduate. Then you finally graduate, and then it hits you. It's like I don't have to
Gosh,
wait.
yeah.
Like, oh snap. Uh, I'm not like I'm an adult now legally.
Right.
And it's like it kind of hits you like, oh, snap, I'm an adult. I gotta make decisions. And it's like, what is this? I don't care for it. And you think those moments from, let's say, eighth grade to senior year, they're gonna last forever and they're indefinite, permanent moments.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They're just part of you know, a part of life, but they're not permanent. Even when graduating from college, it was the same thing. You go through 4 years, you build relationships, you build family, you meet those lifelong friends, and then graduation comes, and it's like, oh snap, this is it. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so, and now we're even older adults, and we're like, wow, we thought these moments they're lifelong moments, but they're not permanent. And it's like, wow, we next chapter. It felt like another chapter in the book was finished and I was starting another one. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like once you like graduating from high school is one thing, but graduating from college it's a different kind of like, whoa, like I actually did what
Mm.
I was gonna do.
It's like a
And
grown-up a graduation feels like.
yeah, it was like the real adult graduation. Because high school doesn't count. So it's kind of like that. It's like you could start replaying and playing back like, oh, I was this way freshman year and now finishing college. And some of us may have job offers of, in our career fields. Some of us, like myself, didn't know what was going to happen until,
Mhm.
or whatever. But it's very interesting. It felt like a chapter was ending, but one was starting. So,
Absolutely. So talk to us about your chapter of preparation to Virginia State University. What type of preparation went into getting ready to attend?
I mean, I really don't think I had too much to prep for because with Trio, they kind of train you a little bit, staying on campus during the summer, making sure you know how to advocate for yourself in certain ways, communicating with the instructor, like that kind of thing. They try to teach you these skills, appropriate skills now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you actually get to college, it's easier to maneuver. So with me being in Trio at Virginia State and actually attending, it wasn't a transition for me.
Mm.
It was kind of more like it was kind of fluid, like it flowed in.
Mm.
I went from, pre-college student to whatever, to actual college student. And with me being in Trio and having different connections and community, I knew how to maneuver and how to handle myself
Mm-hmm.
in a way that I was able to get what I needed to get done, handle my business, and even help some other people. Because ironically, when I went to college, a lot of people thought I was a year or two older than I actually was.
Really?
Yes, I guess being raised by your grandparents, it's like you get aged. But
You get your personality ages you a little bit, no?
yes, yeah. So always hanging around juniors and seniors, and everybody thought that I was a junior or senior. I'm like, no, I am a freshman. And they're like, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, I probably had no business hanging around them.
Right.
Probably had no business, but it's like I just knew different people from being involved in different programs in the summer. I knew this person was this. I knew this person was in financial aid. I knew this person was in student accounts. I knew this person worked at the CAF. I knew this person was this. I knew this person was a security. It's like,
Wow.
you get familiar with people and faces, so it's easier for you to get things done. So people thought I was like a junior or a senior. And I'm like, no, I just started. We were so confused. And I was like, yeah, I did trio, kind of thing. I knew how to handle myself, very mature for my age. Like I said, being raised by your grandparents, it ages you a little bit, your personality. So, that kind of thing, it helped a whole lot.
Mm. Can you talk about a little bit about your college experience? What was that like?
College experience was very transformative. It helped mold me into, help me discover my passions, rediscover some passions, understanding the meaning of building relationships and that kind of thing, and understanding lifelong friends and that sort of thing. And it also provided me with the opportunity for exposure to things that otherwise I probably wouldn't have been exposed to. And, just seeing people that look like me with PhDs and doing stuff in science and engineering or like attorneys and, that kind of thing. And head of departments and stuff like that, seeing people that looked like me that I was familiar with, had some sort of, maybe had some connections of how we were raised and brought up and that kind of thing. It really was a very motivating that if I'm, see these people that look like me, they're doing things that I want to do, I'm gonna follow suit. So it kind of pushed me to be the best that I could be, at all times, 100% doing what you need to do and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Earlier in the program, you had said that you were already dead set on doing a specific major, that you had your sights on becoming a lawyer. But for many first generation students, under the impression that they have to know their major right away, so they come into college thinking, I have to know my major, like I have to know exactly what I need to major in. But I think it's helpful to know the direction, but not necessarily the specifics. That's kind of where I fell under that camp. Where do you land on this choosing a major discussion?
So as far as choosing a major, and I'm probably gonna get a little flack when I say this. So these people that it's not even the whole thing about do something you would do for free, like wake up, you would, that kind of thing. Do something that interests you. And here's why I say that. Like, interest in having a certain or particular curiosity about something, regardless of what it is, it's always going to drive, to me, this is a personal opinion, one's thirst for knowledge and information and how to apply. So if I'm going to school to, say I'm doing something STEM related, like chemical engineering, because I know that field, and I can do something pharmaceutical. I don't know. I'm just rambling about that part. And I'll make a X amount of money and a salary. So if you're driven by, I know this major that's going to get me money or some salary, which is nothing wrong with that, but it takes away the curiosity and interest out of it.
It does. Yeah.
And it makes it kind of boring, and I hate when we kind of push these things on students, like engineering, math, business, or whatever. You don't make an X amount of money, and I'm okay, that's cute. You'll get a set salary, you do this, but it takes without the interest and the curiosity, the thirst for the knowledge to go further, or just explore and elaborate,
Mm-hmm.
that is not there anymore.
Mm.
And like you're seeing things very black and white and gray and not in color,
Yeah.
kind of. Um, I had something else to mention, but I really just forgot it and it slipped my mind.
It's all good. It's all good. If it comes on later, definitely say it, and I'll put it back in. Um, in that experience with your college at VSU, what did that involvement look like? I'm sure certainly different from high school.
Yes, it was certainly different from high school. I was very involved, probably a little bit too much. So I was always trying to I kept was figuring myself out and what I wanted to do. So I
Mhm.
was a student ambassador, freshman orientation leader, did a lot of scholarship stuff. I was in the honors program, conferences, presentations and that kind of thing,
Mhm.
NAACP, other different organizations and that sort of thing. So very involved, to say the least. Schedule was always busy,
Yeah.
and I was always, taking the max number of credits I could take. Like I was very much a busy person, and I was just like all over the place, but I really enjoyed it, honestly.
That's awesome. Did you have any mentors or advisors that helped you on your educational path?
Yes, I had several. One particular professor that I can think about right now, he was my intro to philosophy professor. And that man, he was the hardest professor I
Mhm.
ever had. And he kind of made me angry a little bit.
Angry. Oh wow. Okay.
But, but he was just pushing me. Like he would push me and I would get very frustrated. So I'm like, dude, what do you want from me? I need to pay. But the way and come to find out after graduating,
Mhm.
and still having we talk at least a couple times out of the year now, he gave us like graduate level work and
Oh whoa.
yes, and he didn't tell us that. He was a very different kind of guy. But he
Mm.
pushed me as far as like my writing. He was like, you're a good writer, but it's a little bit more there. You can go further. He was always saying, add more, add more. And I'm like, what more do you want from me? I don't have any more to give. And he would frustrate me, and he would like I wouldn't go back and forth with him in a
Uh-huh.
disrespectful way, but he knew I would get very passionate. And then I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go back and fix it, but I'm still upset about it. And I'll, turn in my assignment later. So he was always pushing me. And this is the crazy part. I would be the only person in the class that would know what was going on.
Mm.
They they would come to me after class and be like, so how did you get a B? I was like, I don't know. I go to the man's office hours. I sit there for 2 hours at a time and we're gonna work through it was a philosophy class, working through the problems and all of that kind of stuff. And he was like, they were like, how did you get through to him? I was like, I didn't get through to him. I guess we're both crazy. We both worked out with each other. But
Huh.
yeah, everybody would come to me and try to get me to like do their work, and I was like, no, that's not happening, um, kind of thing. But he just pushed me from an academic standpoint, and now as I'm in grad school and writing, and even students that need help with writing essays and stuff,
Mhm.
sure they being able to provide some of that strict outline kind of when he was with me to them
Mhm.
to improve their writing and make them understand that you just got to find your mode, your MO for how you
That's so
need to,
true.
break stuff down and go from there. It might seem crazy to some or a little bit harsh, but he really developed me as like an academic writer kind of thing perspective because
Mhm.
I picked it up as my minor. So after the first semester, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick up this minor.
Mhm.
And we were like kind of best friends after that point. I guess we're two crazy people. So he was very, very, integral about the academic side and research and disseminating information and writing and different forms of writing, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So this next question, I'm going to consolidate it because I know we already covered it, but you decided to pursue a political science degree because you were inspired of Obama's run and Michelle Obama as well, and you really wanted to become a lawyer. As you got closer and closer to graduation, again, knowing that you had had the setback, can you talk to us a little bit that the lost moments of like what were you going to do? This is before graduation. You talked a little bit about how you felt lost. Can you talk about that moment?
It's kind of like, how we script everything and plan everything. Like we make our own
We
world.
try, right?
Yeah. And then it doesn't work out. And you're like, I really don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I was like, I need to make money. I was like, I need to find a job because I had been working a while on campus in the summer. So I was used to having my little quarters and pennies. So I was like, I still needed to make money. And especially with me moving back home where jobs are kind of like scarce as to what you could do. Even though I had a 4-year degree, I probably would have found something full-time easy. But it would have been something that would have, I hate to say it, killed my soul a little bit.
Yeah.
But not trying to do that. I was like, so, okay, find a job that I could at least learn something from. So after I got through that like dark little gray area, I kind of picked up some momentum and was like, oh yeah, we're gonna start applying to jobs. Like the family member that I called, and she was a manager at a store, and I was asking did they need an associate or something, and she's like, no, you have a 4-year degree, get in the classroom because they need teachers. And I laughed at her and I was like, this might be my only option. So I went to the classroom, and this is the crazy part. One of my close friends, undergrad, we're still close to this day. She was an education major, and I will always joke with her, you can teach all the kids you want, I'm not doing it. You can have it. I'm not doing it.
You're like, I'm not going to be part of that.
I was like, I'm not going to be, I'm not doing it. You can have fun though, it's cute. But then I was like, this might be my only option. And I'm like, okay. And once I really kind of found what's next in the plan or how to refocus the plan, kind of got out of it. And I was like, okay, it didn't work out, but I was going to take that year to be in the classroom and study for the LSAT again and reapply the following year. But it did not work out that way. So, yeah.
So for many college graduates, graduating itself is a huge relief. What was that moment like for you, Laquanna, when you graduated from college?
When I graduated from college, I felt a sense of relief, like I could breathe a little because I had been busy since I got there. So it's like I was always doing something X, Y, and Z, and then I finally slowed out. It kind of made me slow down a little bit. And once you slow down, it kind of hits you, everything. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on campus next semester. This is it. Like, I'm not gonna be on campus this summer doing anything. This is like quite literally, this is the curtain call. This is the last act. So I kind of felt like a sense of relief. With it, honestly, it kind of hit me prior to graduation. Because it kind of hit me when I turned in my senior project. And I finally printed it out. And I put the little holes in it. And I put it in the binder. Put my name on it. And I was like, this is it. And I was like, wow. So I was kind of taking a deep breath, trying to At this point, I knew I was going in the classroom. So I was like, okay, we're starting something new. We're gonna be in the classroom teaching this one and third, this thing in the third. It's just I went from I didn't know what I was gonna do to taking a deep breath to, thinking about the next steps and what was to come, and that.
And between that process, when did you decide that it was good to jump right back into graduate school?
So, and this is the funny part too. The whole first year of teaching, my first year of teaching,
hmm
I like to forget it because it was that bad.
First year of teaching, really?
Yes, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, well, let's not bring it up.
It's really bad. Like, looking at it, it wasn't that bad, but it
Mm.
was not that good. It was very
Aw.
bad. I don't know what it was, but I didn't like it.
Mhm.
From a professional sense, but as far as like personal growth, it helped me grow up a little bit. So I think with it, like doing that transition, going into teaching and that sort of thing, and learning the lingo, because it's like working with, it's kind of like being in trio, but now you're working for trio. But I was a student, now I'm a teacher on the other side, so understanding the lingo and how that works and that kind of thing. So being it was my first year and I didn't know too much of anything, and I was really just focusing on, okay, I'm gonna do this, put this on my resume, and LSAT law school. I'm still stuck on law school at this point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, still stuck on it. But I was like, okay, yeah, this is cute, working with the kids. I like the kids like me, we're building relationships. I'm actually feel like I'm becoming more of an adult because you're, the working with students, I believe matures you a little bit, especially I was fresh out of college. Like I started teaching by August. I graduated in May. August, I was in the classroom. So I really didn't have a moment to kind of think about it. But the moment I realized I wanted to attend graduate school, I was probably in year 3. So year 3 was like, it was right before COVID hit. So yeah, year 3 was right before COVID hit, and I was like, I'm gonna go back to school, get my master's in education, because at that point, law school dreams, that my passions had shifted. So law school was no longer in the plan. And I was like, okay, now I'm going to go pursue this professional degree in education and get training and develop a certain skill set professionally. Do some scholarly work in education. So if other opportunities, leadership roles open up, I'll be, up to par, because my poli-sci degree did not prepare me for the classroom. So I felt like I needed to fill some gaps in there. I thought I was gonna, make it a long haul kind of thing. So it was like right before COVID hit. It was a blessing in disguise, honestly. I got through with my degree very quickly because we were at home and everything was shut down and we were teaching from home. So I kind of had the best of both worlds. I was posting my lessons and doing my own homework kind of thing. So it kind of worked out.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure, I like to know that I have the proper knowledge and understanding of anything that I'm doing. So me going back to school was to fill that gap of education and that kind of knowledge in that area that I didn't get because I didn't pursue an education degree for undergrad.
So, Laquanna, I've had guests on the podcast that recommend going right into graduate school, and others who say you must take your time and kind of figure out if that's what you really want to do. Talk about your process. Did you take a measured decision to this process, or did you feel like the pressure to do it right away?
So with me saying my up into middle school, 7th grade, law school was it. A lot of people were like, oh, so, okay, so are you gonna go get your master's degree? And I'm like, I just graduated. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't have a clue. I don't know what I'm doing. No, I'm not. But I think I think it just depends on your career field. Now, if you're more in the hard sciences, I think going straight through won't be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're going to medical school or law school, that kind of thing. I don't see the issue of going straight through. But when it comes to other degrees, like in the softer sciences and that kind of thing, humanities, I think the exposure and experience provides a great opportunity to test things out and to see if this is what I actually want, or is this a stepping stone to get to where I eventually want.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of thing. So I think it just depends on what your actual undergrad is in and what are your actual goals as to whether you take a measure, like wait a little while, get some experience, or just go straight through. That kind of, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to kind of consolidate these two questions because, again, you answered them already, but I'm going to consolidate them into this question. You obviously were teaching after graduation. You decided to wait to about 3 years to get into grad school. But you currently serve as the advisor and program coordinator for a TRIO Student Support Services program. How did you find out about that position, and when did you feel like, okay, I really need to pursue this because this is something that speaks to me?
So it's like after COVID hit,
Mm-hmm.
I was like going into year 3 teaching, and it made me sit back and think, like, do I want to be in the classroom for the next 20 years, or do I want to do something else?
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew what TRIO was and all that kind of thing, but like coming straight out of high school, I'm not high school, college. I didn't meet the qualifications. I didn't have a master's yet, so I had just finishing my master's, and I went from teaching middle school my first year to elementary.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I was like, okay, then COVID hit, and then I wasn't particularly like satisfied with where I was working at. So I decided to say, I'm gonna try something different. Let me try another age group. So I was like, let me try college age or high school age students. And I did a search on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
students, advisors, college prep advisors, high school, college advisors, like just like I wanted to get out of the classroom, but still work with students, but high school and college age students. And I stumbled upon the job, and I just applied for it. So I was,
Oh,
but and it's funny, I had applied for the job in late in like
okay.
July, and I didn't hear anything back until roughly around September.
Whoa. So quite a while because and I know a lot of universities and colleges like they have this huge process to
Yeah.
for interviewing. Was that kind of a frustrating experience as like trying to see if you got the job or not?
Yeah, because at that point I was applying to jobs out of state, in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, even Florida. Like I was applying to jobs everywhere. And it took them forever to get back to me. But this is the crazy part. All the jobs that were out of state were calling me back so fast, so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
All the rest of them. So I was just like, okay, am I moving and getting this job? Like, I was just like kind of in a, I was like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I get this random call one day. like in the classroom, and I get a phone call, and I recognize the number because the community college is like right in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably it was 20 minutes for me. So I recognized the number, the area code, and I was like, okay, I know what this is. So, and I picked up, and they were like, oh, is this Miss Sledge? I'm like, yeah. Coming for an interview for the job. I said, can you tell me the job again? Because I had forgotten. I didn't even lie
Yeah.
to them. I was like, what job is this?
What did I apply for again?
Because I'm the type of person that every time I apply for a job, I just do a mass apply. I apply everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what job is this again? And she was like, you don't know what job you applied for? Could you just reiterate, just bring it back to my memory? And I was like, oh, okay. Did the interview, and come to find out after I had the interview,
Mm-hmm.
and then like 50, I get back to work, go back in the classroom. Like 20 minutes later, oh, they selected you. You got to do an interview with such and such and such and such right at this point. And I was like, okay, either I did really good or better than I thought,
Uh-huh.
or just like some kind of divine intervention. But it was just funny how it worked. And it's
Yeah.
like, and like 2 weeks later, I'm like leaving out of the classroom, and then I'm going to this new position
Wow.
that hasn't been filled in a year.
Whoa. Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, you came right on time. So it's just like transitioning from classroom to this job and working with a variety of different ages of students from high school to traditional college students. Some are the same age as me, some are we got it's an age gap there, but it's just different, different environment. Very interesting, I can say.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've had, Laquanna, literally quite the life, career, and educational journey. What is the most rewarding aspect of your job? What has been the most challenging? And again, congratulations on getting this job.
Yeah, I've had my job this past October would have been a year. So I'm a year in now.
Wow.
So I mean, as far as the most rewarding part and challenging part, the most rewarding part is when students like accomplish, they've been struggling in class all semester.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get help. They need a tutor. They've been working full time. They've been doing all of this and trying to manage, and life is happening. And then get to the end of the semester, and they pull out the B or the A in the class that they were struggling with. And I was like kind of scared, like we're both of us on pins and needles, like, okay,
Yeah.
it's done, or is it going to be an incomplete kind of thing? Then you start, as the advisor, you're like, okay, if they don't pass the class, the incomplete the process for that. So just you're kind of hoping for the best, and then you're prepping for the steps if it doesn't happen the way it's planned out. But seeing a student get to the end of the semester and they get the B and the A that they wanted in a class that they thought was going to be a challenge, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the most, I guess, the difficult part about my job is this, and when I consider myself like slightly over ambitious and very motivated, and I guess it's the millennial in me that let's do it now, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it now. We don't have time to wait. It needs to happen now. So, that kind of thing. The most frustrating about my job or the role that I'm doing now is the waiting game. Like, it's like you had these great ideas and that kind of thing, and you want to do everything at one time,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't do everything at one time because first of all, you work with a team of people, and it's not an individualistic kind of thing. So you got to get everybody involved, and everybody may or may not understand it or look at it the way you do. So that produces a level of frustrating points. So just kind of realizing that, yes, I may have great ideas. Yes, I'm slightly a little bit too ambitious, and that's a good thing. But sometimes I think I make myself frustrated because I want to do everything now, and realistically, everything cannot happen now, though it will be a great benefit for the students, but right now is not the right time. So just learning to pump my brakes and push when it's needed and draw back when necessary.
I think it's helpful to be ambitious in a TRIO program. Like you're coming up and developing ways to engage students and to continue promoting their success. So that's amazing that what you do now. Absolutely. Do I agree that you have to I think colleagues of mine would say that you need to get your ideas filtered. Absolutely. I agree with that. But it's also very good that you're ambitious, to get that that passion to say, I want to do this for for the program and see how it works out.
Yeah, it's like I kind of see problems and I want to fix them now. Like I see the problem and I'll sit and think about it, and I'll muddle and I'll get in my head a little bit. I'm like, wait a minute, if we did this, then this could happen, and this could do this, and this could do that. And I'm gonna be like, I have no effect. But then I'm like, wait a minute, slow down. Like, let's be realistic before I get in go mode and push all the gas. So yes, it's a great benefit to have, like you said, having these ambitious thoughts for the students. But sometimes when, sometimes it's kind of hard to work out when you're working with a team of people. That has been very interesting to see how that plays out with working with a team of people instead of, because sometimes in the classroom and teacher role, you're kind of like on your little own island a little bit. And the decision you make in that moment, I think as a teacher, we make so many in the moment decisions all the time. And then you come to working with a team before where you don't necessarily have to make in the moment decisions necessarily. Things flush out and flow out, but in the classroom, you might not have that luxury. And I think that's where it comes from. That see the problem, fix it, you're gonna rearrange it. That kind of thing.
Absolutely. So you also decided to pursue a doctoral degree in the middle of your busy life. When did you decide to do that, and how did you prepare to enter a doctoral program?
Like I said, I might have an unhealthy relationship with school. That could be part of it. Might have an unhealthy relationship with being in school. So it's the reason why I decided to pursue my PhD is because, like I said, I see problems and I want to fix them. So, as a part of pursuing a PhD, you're trying to find a problem, find solutions for it, and study it. So I've always been interested in research. So I was like, why not?
Right.
Kind of thing with it. I've always been interested in figuring out patterns and noticing patterns and how things work and how certain actions and influences and patterns affect people, kind of thing. So I was like, why not? I mean, that kind of thing. It really wasn't like a big thing that made me want to pursue a PhD. It's basically, quite frankly, built on natural interest of things that I like to do. And also too, I noticed that the jobs or careers in higher ed that I am interested in, that I aspire to get to, those people and people that I look up to in higher ed, even in TRIO, outside of it, have PhDs, and they have been working on research for a number of years on different topics in the area of higher ed and TRIO. So mostly second part of why I decided to do it.
And what preparations did you make to get ready for it?
I really don't think I had any prep time.
Okay.
I kind of like, yep, seems like a good time. Let's go ahead and do it. But I did rearrange my schedule, of course. Making sure, because it's like my schedule in itself can be busy, but adding school to it made it very busy. So, I just sat down, had a realistic conversation with myself. I said, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. So we got to put some things gonna have to be pushed back. Some things are going to have to be pushed up. So initially, I was gonna hold off going back to school until after I get a passion project off the ground. But I was like, I think I need to go back to school first, because if I go back to school and finish everything and in a specific time frame, I'll have that majority of time to flesh out this passion project and fully focus on it. So I was like, yep, let's go ahead and do it. Why not?
Right on. I love that.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice you would give to TRIO students that are either pre-college or in college or thinking about grad school?
Like I said before, previously, talking about choosing the major or program, whether in grad school or undergrad. And I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but please pursue your interests and passions. Like, I know some people say interests and passions don't make money, but I mean, depending on what the passion or interest is, but follow your genuine passion and interest. Don't do what people tell you to do. Don't do what people, say it's going to get you the most money, unless that's really your goal to have X, Y, Z amount of money in the bank. Then by all means pursue it, but you have to be in a different mindset when you're pursuing something out of financial gain. But on the other end of that, pursue your interests and passions, because it's gonna cause curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge, which is gonna make everything feel like it flows together, and it's gonna be somewhat easier to you. So you're gonna be more interested in it and more dedicated to it.
Absolutely.
And find your why with everything. Like, just don't do things to do them. Always have some sort of reasoning behind it based off of your own logic and not anybody else's. Why am I doing this? And then once you discover the why and feed off of that, I believe, most people, will have an easier time with deciding what program they're interested in, and also too with pursuing interest and passions and curiosity. When it gets to those tough moments, it makes it easier to go over the hill, if you will. So it keeps you motivated.
Certainly does. What is something you would like to share with TRIO professionals listening to this podcast?
I'm only a year in, I don't really think I could give some sort of advice, but I will say this. As a TRIO professional, we know TRIO is its own world within itself, and it operates the way that it does and has been for the last 50 years, right? So it's kind of like, don't be scared to do the thing that you don't know if it's going to work out or not. Just, step out on faith and jump in the deep end.
I like that advice. That's really good. Like, don't hesitate, jump in, see if it works. If it doesn't, that's what the whole part of TRIO is assessing whether or not it works.
Yeah, because a lot of what I notice is a lot of times with TRIO programs, we can get very what's the word? Because it is the U.S. Department of Education, they make the rules
Mm-hmm.
and all of them. And I think it's kind of like we get so caught up on the rules and regulations and what's in the grant, and we got to do this by a certain time, that we forget to put the stuff in between the rules and like the patterns we've been following for like 5 or 10 years. Like it's okay to scrap everything and be like, I know we did this the last 17 years, but let's try something different this time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go around and see if it doesn't work, we can just go back to what we did before and try it again. Right. It's okay to shake up the calendar. It's okay, like, to shake up the stuff, try something new, something crazy, something weird, something you never did before. I'm always keen on looking at other trio programs and seeing what they're doing. I stalk people a little bit, especially on LinkedIn with trio. I like kind of see what they're doing. I am a stalker. I will find like this. Okay, they're doing this, but we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how it works for us. And that's what I do. Like, it's okay to professionally stalk people and copy, like, and say, I'm still in this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you run out of ideas.
I like that you're encouraging a network connection of trio folks, even if you don't know the trio folks, to go ahead and just see what they're up to, see what they're doing.
It's professional stalking.
Professional stalking. I love that.
I do it quite frequently when I'm trying to figure out what is something I can do, especially now with the end of the semester coming up and we're going into the spring. I'm trying to find like one idea that might work for like my students.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of thing. I'm all here for professional stalking. I'm so serious. I encourage it. Just don't be weird about it.
Absolutely. Just don't be weird about it, folks. Laquanna, what is one word you would use to describe yourself?
One word.
Just one word.
I don't know. I like to consider myself. I'm having a hard time coming up with a word to describe myself for some reason. I mean,
I feel like you're very inquisitive. I'm sorry, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I've been told that. I ask a lot of questions. Because that's how we learn things. So I guess I'm inquisitive, I guess. I like to ask questions. Sometimes I think when I talk to people, they think I'm asking them questions as if I'm interviewing them, but no, I'm really trying to figure out what is your thought process and how do you look at it, so it can help me understand, is the way that I'm looking at what you're looking at influenced by, I just like to see different sides and make some do some what's the word for it, making sure that my assumptions are not influencing how I'm interpreting what you're saying. Because I ask a lot of questions. If I want to know something, I'm gonna ask, and I'm gonna ask the person. And if they can't give me an answer, can you refer me? Like, that's how I've always been.
Right on.
Things.
What are some books, movies, podcasts, or TV shows that occupy your time? I do hear that doctoral students hardly ever get time for themselves.
I think that's a somewhat personal choice, because I watch cartoons.
What are you watching?
I'm gonna sound like a big kid when I say this. I don't know about it just being, but I watch Bluey. Oh,
Bluey! Who isn't watching Bluey? I love Bluey.
Right, it's so fun. Like Bluey, the other little YouTube character stuff. I can't think about it. It helps me mentally decompress. Also, I've been going back and watching shows that I've already watched before. So I rewatched the Crown.
Oh, okay.
I've rewatched the Designated Survivor. Now I'm rewatching Madam Secretary. And also too, I found this interesting, it's on Netflix. I found this interesting documentary about Adolf Hitler.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm a history person, so also, so I found it very interesting. It was one of my, I just finished watching that the end of this past week, and now I'm watching Madam Secretary again for like the second time.
Wow. So, Laquanna, it has been a pleasure to have you on this podcast. I hope we can do this again soon. Would love to get more of an update after you get more experience in your trio program and see, how things are going with you, and also get updates on your PhD.
Yeah, hopefully, I'll progress with the PhD and it doesn't take me out. So, and it doesn't, take me up out of here. So hopefully I'm not rushing it, but I'm not trying to take forever either. So yeah, that's one of my goals. Not to rush, but not to take forever. So
right on. Laquanna, we have a tradition on Let's Talk Trio podcast where we have the guests sign off. Do you care to do the honors?
Yes, and hopefully I do it correctly. I'm reading from the script.
Go for it. You got it.
All right. Hi, this is Laquanna Sledge, and I'm currently an advisor for Trio Student Support Services at Halifax Community College. I am living proof and evidence that Trio works.
That was our guest, Laquanna Sledge, Trio Student Support Services staff member at Halifax Community College and currently a PhD student at Liberty University. Laquanna, thank you so much for being on the podcast and for sharing your Trio journey. Remember, if you would like to be on the Let's Talk Trio podcast or know a staff, advocate, participant, or alumni, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. A huge thanks to our sponsors, Angelica Villalpando, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jeff Caputi, Angelica Valdez, Rosario Riley, Felicia Rivera, TrioJoblist.com, Jaded Electronics, Nosotros Education Center, Cambridge Educational Services, and Student Access. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can sponsor the Let's Talk Trio podcast in one of three ways. Become a monthly patron on Patreon. Our base level starts at $1 a month. Become a corporate sponsor by placing an ad on the podcast. Send us a message for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast PayPal account. Our business handle is @Let'sTalkTrio. I'd like to take a moment to thank our honorary members of the Let's Talk Trio podcast, Roderick Chambers, Tony Ho, Scott Kendall, and Susan Cramp. The Let's Talk Trio podcast team is John Russell, audio engineer, music producer and composer, and post-production editor. Amelia Castañeda, script supervisor, marketing manager, social media manager, and producer. Juan Rivas, executive producer and host. This podcast was recorded Sunday, November 5th, 2023. We are in an election year. I strongly urge our listeners to exercise their right to vote. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.